Welcome everyone to Beyond the Adventure. Today's episode is MOTO Wednesday, and let's get started. So starting this episode out here, this is actually a crossover between two different series that I had going on at the same time, one of which still goes on, which is Adventure Wednesday. I used to have a series on the channel called MOTO Monday where I would go out on adventures on my motorcycle. Good 98% of the time. There was a couple episodes where I actually just took the truck out or took the car out and took you guys on different drives, different adventures. Not too much commentary going on in the episodes. So from what I remember here, what I'm watching on the screen, I went to the top of Mount Sugarloaf on the motorcycle here, and I believe that is where I ended the episode out. Very cool shot of the clouds rolling over on top of everything. That is the Connecticut River. Fun fact, this spot right here, Mount Sugarloaf, was actually used in a movie called Heart of Darkness or Edge of Darkness. It starred Mel Gibson, and it was dealing with his child's killer or something like that, and there was some like evil secret corporation's headquarters up there on top of the mountain. They didn't actually use that building, but they used the panoramic view that was there, and they used like the roads and stuff like that. Anyways, I'm leaving the top of Mount Sugarloaf right now. This is a very fun road to drive on. Doesn't matter if you're in a car, on a bicycle, motorcycle. It's got a lot of very windy and bending turns, a lot of hairpin turns, a lot of very tight and sharp corners. So just pay attention when you're on it and don't go too fast and you should be fine. But one sketchy thing, if you can see on the left hand of the screen, there's these yellow stripes on the side. Those are drainage ditches for the mountain, and these are a good 2.5 to 3.5 feet deep. So if you were to just not pay attention for a second on a bike or in your car or on a truck and your tire goes in there, you're probably going to snap something. Just throwing that out there. So heading down the mountain right now and off on the adventure. Now I believe from here I take you guys over to Mount Skinner or Mount Holyoke. Let's see, which way do I go? If I go left here, which I think I am, waiting for the traffic, yep. In case you guys are wondering, this motorcycle that I'm on is a 2003 Harley-Davidson 883 XL Sportster, XLH Sportster, and it is upgraded, it is punched out, bored out, everything. So last time we put it on the dyno and we got the CCs, it was 1240 cc. So it went from 883 to 1240 cc. It is a very quick bike when I'm on it. It is getting up there in age. That bike has taken me everywhere. We've driven on the bike up and down the East Coast, driven down through the Smoky Mountains on that motorcycle. I've taken up to the top of Mount Washington before, and unfortunately this year and the year before, last year, I haven't really been able to ride it. I mean, as of right now, the current date that I am filming this episode is August 22nd, and I have not yet ridden my motorcycle at all this year. And for those of you that own a motorcycle, you know exactly how depressing that is. Now, last year I couldn't ride it because we were remodeling the salon, and the sinks and everything were in front of the motorcycle in the shed, and it was just so much work to dig it out, and I didn't want to leave the bike sitting out in the rain. I have covers and stuff for it, but still, you know, if you get gusts of wind, rain blows up underneath, and there's a lot of chrome on the bike. I didn't want anything happening to it. So right there I'm passing, there is a spot. It used to have a catfish derby when I was a little kid. We used to go through it all the time. I actually still think that they have the catfish derby. Now I don't know if you saw a second ago, there was a sign on the left hand side of the road, and it had a bunch of different white markers on it. Those had indicated different levels of flooding at different points in time from like the spring thaw. Anyways, here I am heading up to the top of Mount Holyoke, going back to the motorcycle. So last year there was just a bunch of stuff in the shed. I didn't have, you know, any room, or I didn't want to drag the bike out, move everything around. So I didn't actually start riding the motorcycle last year until I think it was the second week of August after we had finished the salon. I changed the oil on it, went over, got the inspection sticker, everything like that. And this year it's just been crazy busy with everything going on, with, you know, just YouTube videos, working, doing other side jobs, odd jobs, everything, you name it. Don't really have just one specific job I do many different things, from landscaping, painting, drywall, you know, fixing appliances, you name it, I've probably done it. So anyways, here I am heading up to the top of Mount Holyoke, and let's see if I pulled this page out before so I can read it off to you. Mount Holyoke. Mount Holyoke is a trap rock mountain, elevation 935 feet. It is the westernmost peak of the Holyoke Range and part of the 100-mile Metacomet Range, or Metacomet Ridge. Mountain is located in the Connecticut River Valley of western Massachusetts. Now there's this very cool picture, I'm going to throw it up on here. This is a view of the Connecticut River oxbow from Mount Holyoke summit, painted in 1836 by Thomas Cole. Anyways, the mountain was named after Elizur Holyoke, which is who Holyoke is named after. He was an early resident of Springfield, Massachusetts, and an immigrant from Tamworth, England, who first explored the mountainous region that came to bear his name. The city of Holyoke, Massachusetts, the Holyoke Range, and the Mount Holyoke Female Seminary, now Mount Holyoke College, were all named after this mountain, Mount Holyoke, and not directly after Elizur Holyoke, which I don't think that's correct, because I've heard that a bunch of different times. Like I said, guys, this is off of Wikipedia, so you can't always trust everything on there. Anyways, in 1821, an 18 by 24 foot guest cabin was built on Mount Holyoke by a local committee, one of the first of the New England summit houses. The property changed hands several times between 1821 and 1851, when it was bought and rebuilt as a two-story, 8-room hotel. Local entrepreneurs John and Francis French were the primary owners. Between 1851 and 1900, the hotel and property were subject to a number of upgrades and related construction projects, including a covered tramway to the summit of the mountain, first drawn by horse, then mechanized. So here I am actually getting up to the top of the mountain where the summit house is. We are here at the White House. The White House on the mountain, that's what a lot of people in the area call it. You can see this for miles and miles. 942 feet up. Somebody's screaming, I love this place in the background. You'll see in a second. It's got some very cool, breathtaking views. Now, here I am panning out all the way off in the distance. I don't know if you can see it from this shot. That right there is the Meadows in Northampton. There's the Northampton Airport located over there. So it would be kind of on the right-hand side of the field where that long dirt road is that you see there. This is going up to the deck. Now they had just remodeled this entire deck, or they were in the process of remodeling. It is now since been completed. Yeah, see, it was completed at that point in time. Did a great job on it. It's very nice. We've hiked up and down this mountain many times, driven up and down it many times. It's a very nice spot to go in the fall if you want to go for a quick picnic or anything like that if you live in the area. They do have different things up here in the old hotel, like concerts, and they have they had a wine tasting event and things like that. I've never gone to any events in there. We went to something up there where there was a couple of different Boy Scout troops when I was a little kid, and they had a presentation. They had a guy with a peregrine falcon and like a red-tailed hawk and just a bunch of, like, you know, avian raptors. You'll see off in the distance, I don't know if you get a good shot, but you'll actually see UMass, the University of Massachusetts. It's all the way out there. It's the only thing that looks like a city, because it pretty much is its own little city. There's a small island there. I remember going to that a bunch of times as a little kid. Yeah, UMass, where the bend in the river is, where you see these sandy beaches, is actually located right behind it, where I can see. Now that is looking all the way down the Mount Holyoke Range, heading all the way down towards where Mount Tom would be. Like I said, this is the Connecticut River. It flows all the way from, I believe, Canada, or Brattleboro, Vermont. I don't know, somewhere very far up north. It goes all the way down to Old Saybrook, Connecticut, where it dumps out into the ocean. Now heading down here, there are a couple of other spots where you can set up, you know, like a picnic. There's a few covered areas as well. Absolutely love the rocks and the mountain face, the rock face on this mountain here. There is a memorial down around this bend here up on the right. I think I bring you guys to it. Here's just one of the information signs that they have. Now, a long time ago, they used to have this, it was called Passport to Massachusetts Parks or something like that, and each sign at all the different parks had a cool stamp that you could stamp onto a little passport, and it, you know, if you went to all these different parks, yeah, here's a, is it a Veterans Memorial, or is it for a crash? I know there was a crash on Mount Holyoke. Crashed on this mountain. That's not the same. The other one's a B-17, I think. I don't know. Maybe there were 2 crashes of planes on these mountains. Anyways, on Mount Tom there is a memorial there for a crash of servicemen who had died returning home from war, and I've taken you guys up there a few times before, if I remember correctly. This is nice because when you get up here and you park, they have the main house, and you can also walk all the way down to where one of the peaks are, or where one of the points are. This is where I had headed to. I brought you guys to show you around. Now, just a few different trails that lead up to the top of the mountain here. You can see another view of the summit house there again. I always liked this thing. It was one of the access bridges for the trolleys back in the day. They still have it there with the rockwork and everything like that. Very cool little ATV, utilitarian terrain vehicle, or whatever you want to call it. Utility terrain vehicle. Anyways, heading down the mountain here. I don't know if this mountain right here or Mount Sugarloaf, I don't know if Mount Skinner or Mount Sugarloaf has a more steep, which one has a more steeper grade going down. Both of them, like I said though, do have some very nice hairpin turns, very sharp corners. Absolute thrill if you're on the motorcycle to go down there. Just make sure to pay attention for the cars that are coming up. Now, when was the original air date, did I say, of this episode? August 9th. No, that was the upload time. Original air date of this episode was August 8th. Now you can see all the trees are discolored from the drought that we had. Excuse the phone call real briefly. Are heading down the mountain here. Now these state parks, a lot of them have automated kiosks at them now where you have to pay to get in there, and they give you a little plastic or a little piece of paper that you put on your dashboard. Back in the day, it used to be where you would get charged to go into the parks on a weekend, and during the week they wouldn't charge, and then they started charging, and it's something that it hits a sour note with me, the fact that they charge you money to go into these parks and you very rarely see any improvements. Out when you go towards Boston, all of their parks are nice. They spend all the money fixing their parks and everything like that, and the western half of the state is just completely forgotten about. I mean, this road right here is in desperate need of resurfacing or just completely grinding it down and repaving. I actually don't think you could resurface that road. It looks beyond repair. But the booth is coming up right after the speed bump. It's on the left of the screen somewhere. Yeah, right there. So that was actually when they had first started implementing that they were charging everybody to go up to the top of the mountain, and they also don't have any like set pricing. So if you go in there with a bus of people, it's the same price as if you go in there with just your motorcycle or just your car with 1 or 2 people in it. Very strange, and like I said, they spend all the money out on the eastern half of the state and they neglect the parks in the western half. There are so many parks that I've been to, and it's not just ones in specific towns such as Holyoke or Hadley or Agawam or anything like that. All the parks out here seem to suffer more so since the war on terror that occurred in 2001, 2000, whenever, we're still in it right now. But anyways, here we are going back up to the town common of Hadley, the Hadley Town Commons. Another movie I saw up there on premiere night was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I think I was 9 years old at the time when Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone came out, and I believe that book has been out for 20 years now. The book celebrated its 20th birthday or something like that. Anyways, there is back over there to the right, there is a sky observatory where you can see stars at night at the telescope. I couldn't think of that word for some reason. here I am now heading over the bridge on the upper part of the Hoyoke Dam, which is where I had taken you guys to last season on Adventure Wednesday. I'll throw the link up here and down below in the description. That's where the fish lift happens. That over there to the right was Mount Tom. There used to be, down there to the right by this bridge, a giant homeless camp compound, and they had all these chickens and everything like that. Once again, a little confusing. I decided to do the outro before I had left, and I went out for the drive and everything like that. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the footage, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see everybody later. Peace.